Welcome to this Wednesday night edition of Campus Crossfire. We've got a great one-hour show for you tonight. The Associated Student Government Exec team will be joining us. We'll have an update on the possible reopening of the government. Don't change that channel because the best 1 hour of campus and political news is next. Tonight. I'm your host, Jeff Martin. With me tonight, we have the members of the ASG executive team, President Bo Renner, Vice President Ellie Keffler, and Secretary Lindsey Bach. Let's get right into it, guys. What is the most critical issue facing students today?
Well, I think largely it depends on who you're asking. So for me, at 8 a.m., it is finding a parking spot, but on Saturday, at 3 p.m., it was not having enough touchdowns. So depending on who you ask and when is in large part what issue is most important. But I think ultimately the main reason that we should all be at the University of Arkansas is to get an education, and so that goes directly back to academics. Something that I think or I know that our exec team found very important, not only in forming our platform, but now being in office and carrying out the policies we ran on, was forming a syllabus bank. And we find this important because we want students to know what the classes they're signing up for. So not only do they need to know the teacher they're taking, but they need to know what the class and the curriculum that they're going to be going over that semester. And so since we're all here to get an education, the number one thing that we can do is better inform students of the classes that they're enrolling into.
Lindsey, Ellie, any feedback on that? With any other critical issues you think students might be facing?
I would agree that what's critical that's facing students is anything that's keeping them from getting their education. So whether that's being informed about a class or having an advisor that is accessible to them, I think those are what is the most critical for students.
And helping students optimize their education outside the classroom by getting involved in different groups on campus that can help forward their knowledge of the field they're interested in, or kind of help them get a sense of belonging at the university.
All right, well, a big question a lot of students ask when they get on campus is, wait a minute, we have a student body president or student body officers? What do they do? Bo, what exactly do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, it's somewhere between running to and from meetings and addressing 4.8 billion emails. But no, it's important. It's important because I think students need to realize how lucky we are to have an administration at this school that cares about what we think. And there's something encouraging about sitting in meetings with Chancellor Gearhart and looking over to my right side and seeing a sign hung on his wall that says students first. And he means these things, and so having an input on every major decision that affects the very students who walk these halls is important. And so that's our job, is to represent students.
All right. Ellie, what are the vice presidential duties?
My role is chiefly programming, homecoming, the MLK Vigil, the faculty appreciation banquet, and welcome week, and anything in between that involves event planning. I usually take the reins on that.
All right. What about you, Lindsey?
My main role as secretary is just informing the students of what ASG does. Within ASG, keeping everyone on the same page, kind of blending that line of communication, but then also taking that and giving it to the student body, letting them know what's going on within ASG and within the rest of the community.
All right.
And I can speak for Matt if you want me to.
Yeah.
Our treasurer isn't here to make it tonight, but he obviously deals with the financial side of student government. We are lucky to have over 400 registered student organizations here on campus, and one of Matt's main duties is to chair the RSO Financial Affairs Board, which allows student groups to do what they're supposed to, and that is hold events for other students. And so Matt deals with all the financial sides having to do with the Associated Student Government.
Would those events include, such as the Headliners Concert? I know we have Mac Miller coming up, Distinguished Lectures Committee, Condoleezza Rice has been announced.
Absolutely, absolutely. And those are all things that benefit us as students, and something that we are lucky to get to represent them in each and every area of campus life.
So let's take a step back a little bit. Last year you guys campaigned, you fought a hard campaign, and you won. What made you decide to run? What was the biggest cause when you were looking at it and going, I think I want to be the next student body, I want to be a student body officer? What made you guys decide that?
I know for me, when Bo and Ellie approached me about running for secretary, I looked back at what I had been involved with. I was so passionate the last 2 years of my career as a student about what ASU does, and I knew that I wanted to be a part of that and helping give back in any way that I could. ASG has an awesome ability to just play a lot of roles across campus, and being able to serve on the executive committee for an organization that does so much was really important to me.
All right, what about you, Ellie? What made you want to run for vice president?
I think for all of us, it was the idea of leaving the campus a bit better than it was when we came here. And I know for us, we just all have a real passion for the University of Arkansas, and we realize it's given us so much, so we want to do our best to keep that going.
All right, what about you, Bo? What made you want to be president?
Well, I think they're both right. If we didn't feel like we could not do it, we wouldn't have done it. And if it was ever about us, we wouldn't have. We would have stopped, early into the campaign, because it's only through that passion and love for the University of Arkansas that kind of gave us the energy and the spark to want to do something like this. But we go to school, we sit in class with, we root on Saturdays with people that we love and care about, our friends or our family. It's the entire Razorback community. And it's because of those people that encourage and inspire us, I know, each and every day, whether we're walking to the office or going into a meeting. So.
All right, guys, great. Well, Lindsay, quick question for you. You were in charge of advertising, especially for the campaign. Y'all's campaign slogan was "Students you know, leaders you need." What made you guys feel? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of good. What made you feel you were needed?
I would say that there was a lot of different opinions about ASG and what they do. And we wanted to prove that ASG was something that could directly affect students' lives, and we believed that we were the right people for that job. We wanted to make a difference, and we believed that we were the ticket that was going to do just that.
All right. You guys have any other feedback on that, or I think Lindsay summed it up pretty well?
And I think something that was important to Ellie and I know when we were forming our ticket and had decided to actually make the run is we wanted to form a ticket that reminded students largely of themselves. And so we never wanted to be people that were sitting on our high horse in a comfortable chair or anything of the nature, but students that knew that they could do the very job that we were doing. And because we cared so much about this place, that they too could serve in our own positions. And because we're trying to represent them, it's good to get on their level no matter where that is at. And I think our ticket, Matt, Ellie, myself, our chief of staff, and we're lucky to have Amy May as chair of Senate also, represents the Arkansas student in all areas. And so that was another factor, just being able to represent everybody at where they're at.
All right, well, we will be back in just a few minutes with you guys with more questions for your ASG exec team. Keep it right here. Crossfire continues right after this break.